At just 16 years old, Reina Arakawa has been through more than most teenagers. She's one of a new generation determined to shape the future of Fukushima. Reina had to flee her town of Hirono and live in Tokyo after the 2011 earthquake, tsunami and nuclear disaster devastated this region. She's now back home with a new school and a new sense of hope, one she'd planned to show off when she ran on day one of the Olympic torch relay.
I want to show my town to the world. I want people to know that it's not only bad after the disaster.
Tokyo!
The government won its bid for the Games with a promise to make them the Recovery Olympics and show just how far northeastern Japan has come. The torch relay was planned to start in Fukushima. It's also hosting the baseball and softball. But when coronavirus brought the Games to a halt, Japan's government shifted the focus, saying the postponed Olympics would now serve as proof humankind has conquered the deadly virus.
I wanted to show the part that has recovered, and it will be unfortunate if the meaning of recovery fades away because of coronavirus.
The government has spent vast sums of money on buildings and infrastructure. This brand new train station opened this year, but literally right across the road is an abandoned building, and there are many around here. The reality is, for some, they'll never be able to live in this town again. For a region that's faced so much adversity, there's no shortage of optimism. On what seems like unremarkable land in Fukushima, some of the world's sweetest peaches are growing. They're Koji Furuyama's pride and joy, and while his produce is safe, it hasn't been easy for Fukushima to decontaminate its reputation. He's banking on the Games to do that.
I think now there are two strong themes: recovery from coronavirus and recovery from the disaster.
He was due to run in the torch relay, and despite it being postponed, he ran his leg anyway, with a peach instead of the flame. No decisions have been made yet on what the scaled-back Games may look like. It's believed all of the venues have been secured for next year, but just who will be in them beyond the athletes isn't clear.
The key is how quickly the vaccine and specific medicine can become widespread. But if it doesn't become widespread, it would be difficult to host the Games.
Some believe the Olympics will go ahead either way.
There's clearly the view that there may well not be a vaccine, and the Games can go on without a vaccine.
Even if Japan manages to contain the coronavirus, the question is, will the rest of the world have done so by this time next year? Here in Tokyo, the Olympic Stadium should be bustling with people doing final preparations and checks for the opening ceremony. Instead, it's fenced off. So what about the Australian athletes? How are they faring? Here's national sports reporter David Mark.
Some Australian athletes have already been selected for Tokyo, but others are yet to make the team. The postponement has forced them to recalibrate their training and their state of mind. Tom O'Halloran is one of them.
A lot of us have put our life on hold for the Olympic opportunity, and for it to get moved, I think there was people that had some relief, a little bit of anger, perhaps a little bit of sadness.
He's most at home climbing the cliffs around Sydney and the Blue Mountains.
People often don't like the comparison of calling it a sport, and it's a way of life.
But to achieve his Olympic dream, Tom O'Halloran moved indoors, hoping to become the first and only man to represent Australia in the new Olympic sport of rock climbing. Instead, the COVID shutdown hit hard in March, when the Olympic selection trials were cancelled and he lost his job in the space of a week.
Everything just gets upended. It's hard to not look at some of those fully professional athletes that are getting all the money and the opportunities with a little bit of jealousy, perhaps.
The Australian Olympic Committee wants to send around 480 athletes to Tokyo. It's already selected 71, and the Olympic silver and bronze medalist in the K1 slalom, Jessica Fox, is one of the first. The winner of 10 World Championships is one of the lucky ones, with financial backing from government, her sport and sponsors. But when the world suddenly shifted in March, she still found herself in uncharted waters.
It was a mix of struggles, I think, a bit of emotional, mental, physical as well.
Jessica Fox would have been flying out to the Olympics this Tuesday, but with time, she's refocused on waiting another year.
The countdown starts again, so I'm excited about that.
Of course, doubts remain amidst the uncertainty around the coronavirus pandemic and whether the Games will go ahead next year.
The absolute attitude is that the Games are on. There's over 12 months to go to the Games, and that's the only approach that we can take.
I'm preparing as if they are, and I'm really hopeful that they will.
It may be a leap of faith, but it's what's driving these athletes.
It almost makes you teary. They might need to put me on a IV drip to replace fluids with the amount of crying I might do if I took that spot.
I think it's that honour and pride of representing your country.
These are turbulent times, and for now, time is all they have. David Mark, ABC News.